Your subconscious mind is a powerhouse. It can be one of your best friends. It can help you achieve and create and support the life that you want, but it can also hinder you, prevent you, and be your own worst enemy. And all of this is linked to the program, the content of your subconscious mind. And this is something that has been inbuilt from the moment you were born all the way to today. We all have accumulated a gigantic amount of information, programs, and belief that helps us operate in our life. Some of those are great, some of them were working for a long time and they're no longer working now, and some of them have been toxic from day one. And one of the most important things that you have to realize is, as Carl Jung used to say, that until you make your subconscious program conscious, they will continue to run your life and you will call it fate. And one of the most frustrating things in life is to try so hard, read all the books, do everything that you can to create the life that you want, to transform your life, and keep on falling short, having that ceiling, that stagnation, feeling like no matter what I do, it's just not working. As long as your subconscious mind is not aligned with what you consciously desire, the life that you want to create, you will sabotage. It will be an uphill battle every step of the way. So one of the fastest and best things you can learn to do in your life is, how do I clean up the house just like you clean up your home, right? Or just like you clean up and take the trash out after cooking a nice meal. How do I clean up my subconscious mind from those beliefs, from those patterns, from those stories that are no longer needed, supporting me and align with the life and the result I want to create? And so I want to walk you through a very simple system, something you can do, but also help you understand how this is controlling every single thing that you do in your life. And the first thing I want you to understand here is that this here represents your subconscious mind. Very simplistic, right? And on top, we have the conscious mind. At the bottom here, we have the body. And the body here is important because all of this is a unit. How you feel, these emotions happen in the body. And this is what also creates your point of attraction. The energy that you generate, your vibration, comes from the way you feel, that energy that you represent. Now, we have here the result, and here we have what we can call the external world. Everything around you, right? People, things, money, experiences, your job, everything around you. You see, your subconscious mind is the first layer that filters whatever you perceive in the external world or in your result. If you don't choose consciously what something means, the moment you create a thought, a meaning, an interpretation about that external world, is so fast and often so unconscious and so habitual from the filters, meaning all the belief and reference that you have in your subconscious mind, that the only thing that you do is create the same old thought and the same old story, and then you create the same old feeling based on the program that you have. So you walk down the street, you see something that you like, you have that pleasant thought about it, and then you feel good about it. Or you have a thought about something you don't really like, or that makes you feel envious or judgmental, and you have that thought, oh, so nice, how lucky they are. And it makes you feel the same way. And this is important. Why? Because then how you think and how you feel determines how you act, how you choose, the decisions you make, and over time, this creates your result. But it also affects what you attract in your life based on your energy, right? Obviously, if you feel grateful or empowered or confident, you're gonna emit a very different energy. You're gonna be attracting certain people, certain situations, certain information that is very different than if you feel like a victim, hopeless or powerless. Okay? So how you think and feel habitually is determined by the subconscious program that you have. All of this is very habitual. It's part of that identity. It's part of who you are, how you know yourself to be, and how you operate in your world. And so it's fair to say that how you think and how you feel is simply driven by those external things that you see outside of you. And so as long as you don't think greater before any of this change, because the biggest trap that I see with people is that when my external situation or my result change, then I will think greater. But as long as that thing is there that I don't like, I'm gonna resist it. I'm gonna be angry or envious or judgmental, and I'm gonna fight that thing. But it's not about fighting the mirror or feeling like a victim or blaming, because that also is a subconscious program that you have habitually created to react and to be in a certain way and to feel powerless. And so you keep on attracting the same type of experience that reaffirm that program, and it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, like a vicious cycle, over and over and over, repeating itself. So the question then is, how do I break free? How do I clean up that house? How do I let go of those programs? Yeah, and it's actually quite simple, because you see, all you have to do is wake up. You have to wake up, meaning you have to become aware of the thought, the judgmental thought, the industrial thought, the anxious thought, the limiting perception that comes and stems from your subconscious belief. It's like at the root of all those perception and all that cluster of thought around a particular subject or person or people or situation comes from a core belief or a core program, let's say. And how I feel habitually about that thing also come from the same program. So I have to then become aware that, okay, I am not that thought or that program or that feeling. The moment there is a distance, a gap, you detach and you start to become aware of the thought, you are already breaking the pattern, you're already releasing the pattern, because you start to see it for what it is and not who you are, meaning I default, I think about this, I am defined by this, and I think and act on this. So the first thing you need to do is really create a space here that gives you the possibility to be a conscious person and be like, okay, how can I start thinking greater? What would be a better thinking, feeling, thought? What would be a better perception here? What would be a greatest truth here in this situation about what I see here, or about my result, or whatever it is that I'm dealing with in my world right now? And so this is important, because the moment you repeat that story and that new thought over and over again, you start to not only change and like create a new subconscious program, but over time you're also starting to change the way you feel in your body. Because if you drop that old victim story and that poor me and it's not working, or I'm not good enough, or whatever, and you start to be more self-empowering, be more intentional, focus better your attention and your energy and how you talk to yourself. And you do that with repetition, because that's how you reprogram your subconscious mind. Repetition. The more you think about something in a certain way, the more your subconscious mind just takes it on. Then it becomes a program, and then it thinks for you in that certain way. So when you start to think differently, and you start to feel differently, and you start to sustain it, and you start to challenge those old thoughts and those old stories and those old beliefs whenever they come up, that's how you start the process of letting go of this old belief and perception, and you start to create that alignment between the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, and the result, the life that you want to create. As long as you let those old thoughts, those old stories go unnoticed, unconscious, and you let yourself feel in the same old contraction and the same old way, and you resist what is, you're gonna persist in that situation. So you, as the creator of your life, you cannot serve two masters at the same time, as the saying goes, right? So you gotta choose. Am I gonna choose to believe the same old limiting thought and the same old feeling sorry for myself, or the anxiety or whatever, or I'm gonna choose a bigger, a greater story, even if it's uncomfortable, even if I don't see the result now, even if it's hard and it takes discipline and effort? Can I sustain that new way of being, so I can cement that in my subconscious mind, in my identity, so I can start choosing and acting and showing up and then attracting new things and people and situations in my life? And if I do that with repetition, what is going to happen in my result and in my external world? I tell you this, the moment you withdraw your attention from the old pattern and the old story, and you give your attention to something new, this is where you give life and you energize that new pattern. And so essentially, you're already cleaning up the house, because the only thing that keep those old beliefs sustained, if you will, is your attention to the thought and sustaining the feeling and the same old actions, reactions over and over and over again, and seeing and reacting to the same old thing, the same old people, the same old situation, the same old external event in the same old way. So the moment you stop sustaining it through your attention, and you start sustaining something new by thinking greater, by choosing a higher quality thought, a higher quality story, by dropping the blame, by being grateful, there's so many ways, right? You can choose and you are only one thought away every single time from a greater experience in your life, from allowing greater things in your situation. And when you compound that over time, you're going to end up with some phenomenal result. At the beginning, you might not see it straight away because there's the old momentum acting. But once that new momentum starts to kick in, that's when the real magic starts to happen. And the magic is that it starts to become so automatic, so normal, that you forgot who and how I used to be. And that's when you really know I have fully transformed, because what feels normal and true for me now is that new model of reality, is that new thought, is that new belief. And the old one feels like, how could I have ever been there, so to speak? Yeah. So in a nutshell, guys, this is how you can take conscious control of your life, what you're creating, by understanding the power of your subconscious mind to create or to stagnate in your life, to be your best friend or your worst enemy. And it has all to do with you not letting your subconscious mind running your life on autopilot, but consciously, actively monitoring and disciplining and choosing what it means, how I'm gonna feel, and how I'm gonna show up. Let me know what you think down in the comment, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this type of video. I'll see you next time. Be well.